Alright, YouTube, welcome back. It is part 4 today. Today's going to be all about removing the accessory drive, and if we get lucky, we'll get into doing the heads. We got lucky yesterday or today because it didn't rain. I thought it was going to rain and it didn't. So we caught a break for today. It's not going to rain tomorrow or the day after that, but it's going to rain on Saturday, the weekend. So I want to be done. Today's Wednesday. I want to be done by Friday before it rains on Saturday with the cam install. Obviously I still have to do the stall converter, but if I can seal up the engine and then it rains and then after that I'll get into the transmission, that makes my job a lot easier because I don't have to worry about the water, right? Other than that, let me show you what we're going to be working on and we'll get started. For today, it is all about this accessory drive. All of this needs to come off. So we're gonna do that, and if we're lucky, we'll get into doing these heads and taking these heads off, and that's where we'll call it for today. But right now my main priority is this accessory drive. So with that said, let's get started. So the first thing is going to be taking the belt off, the serpentine belt. So that's just a 15mm bolt. You rotate it, relieves tension, and then the belt will slide right off. So let me show you guys that. Just going to go right as if we were tightening, and then that'll take slack off of the belt, and then it's just a matter of removing it like so. Take this bad boy off, and just like that. Bam, serpentine belt. Okay, this one's going to be tough for you guys to see, but I'm going to explain it as well as I can. So to take the AC belt off, you don't have to cut it. All you do is you get a 24mm ratchet, put it to where you can crank the engine, and you're going to crank the engine counterclockwise, right? So as you're cranking the engine, what I'm using is a wrench, the biggest wrench I had. All you're going to do is get up behind the AC belt and apply pressure coming towards you as you're cranking the engine, and the belt will slip off, so you don't have to cut it. So here's what that looks like. Alright, and just like that, we got the AC belt off. And just to give you guys a better angle of what I was doing, so obviously that's where you crank the engine over. I've got the ratchet wrench in there, and then all I did was I took my actual wrench and then wedged it back here, right? So the belt lays in this track and then goes over here. So I just took my wrench, wedged it back here, up on the engine, and then went like this, basically made this motion and pulled as I was cranking, did that together, and then eventually you'll just see the belt starts to slip off of this hub, slips off, and then it comes right off. So not a problem at all. Also, I know you manual guys have to go into a certain gear in order to crank the engine over, this, that, the other. For us that are a part of the automatic superiority clan, I just have the car in park and I was able to do that, no problem. Okay, up next I'm going to be removing these two hoses here. And then after I remove those, I'm going to be removing the water pump, which is held on by 6 bolts, which I'll show you where they are right now. For now, let me just remove these two hoses with some movie magic. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Taking these two damn hoses off was hard for no reason. Like, it was terrible. This freaking... Anyway, they're off. They're tucked away. Like, that's where they came from, right? And all this stuff is in the way, so I ended up disconnecting this little harness, and then there's a ground wire back here that I also took off. That way I could fit pliers down there and take it off, but it was a pain in the butt. Anyways, moving on to the water pump. There are 6 bolts, which I'll try and show you. There's one here, there's one here, and then there's one tucked away in here, so that's 3. And then on this side, there's one back here, in there, so that's 4. The next one is on the side over here, That's 5, and then the last one is down there on the bottom. You can see it tucked away. That's 6. So there are 6 10 millimeters. I'm gonna get those off and then get the water pump off. You're gonna want to get something under the car. Right now I have that mat, and I'm probably gonna add cardboard because you take that water pump off and a whole bunch of coolant's gonna come out. So be ready for that. I'm trying not to make a mess. You should probably do the same. Other than that, let me get working and I'll be right back. Okay, as soon as my time lapse finished, I took the water pump off. So you guys missed the money shot, but the water pump is off. I'm gonna be honest with you, there's no way to do that cleanly. I have my pan down there, I put cardboard, but you take the water pump off and everything just like coolant splashes all over the place. I know there is a way to get a shot. You can get a vacuum in and put it in somewhere. I don't remember, I read it. And then you can like basically vacuum out all of, or as much coolant as you can, and that'll make it a little bit cleaner. But honestly, as long as I don't get anything on my driveway, I'll be all right. All of this coolant, I'll clean up as much as I can, and the rest of it will just burn up when the engine gets hot, so I'm not too mad. But for now, we're gonna move on to doing this timing stuff. And oh, as a matter of fact, before we do that, let me show you guys. So yeah, there's the water pump, and then you can see more clearly the 6 bolts, 1 2 3 down here, and then 4 5 and 6 are right there. So you take those off, and then I just got a flathead, which I can show you which one I used. Flathead, I put it back through here, and then I pried, and then it came right off, no problem. So we're gonna keep moving, and I'll give you guys an update in a little bit. Next, we've got the alternator. Now the alternator just has to be swung out of the way. So as you can see right here, there's a 15 millimeter bolt that comes out, and then down here as well there's a bolt that comes out, and then right here where my finger is, there's a nut, same thing, it's a 15 millimeter. The nut comes off, so the 2 bolts in the nut. And then what this allows you to do is to sort of flex the alternator like this. And this is important because behind the alternator is the timing cover, and there's 2 bolts back there that we need to reach, and you can't reach them when the alternator is just in place, but you can when it's out of the way, kind of to the side like this, like we're doing right now. So do that with the alternator, and then we can move on to the timing cover. Okay, so I actually lied to you guys in the last clip. We're not going to the timing cover just yet. Right now, actually, we're going to be doing the most fun part of the install. I say fun in sort of a sarcastic manner because it's going to be the hardest part that we've dealt with up to this point. We're going to be breaking the crank bolt loose. And so I didn't have a breaker bar. I asked my uncle, and he provided me with one, so shout out to my uncle. But yeah, right now you need a breaker bar, you need the 24 millimeter socket, and most importantly, you need some muscle. And given that I'm not muscular, this should be fun. Okay, really quickly, one important thing to note is that if you were to put the breaker bar onto that bolt and then start cranking away at it, all that would happen is that you would crank the engine and this harmonic balancer would spin. In order to avoid that, what we're going to do is put a chain through the harmonic balancer around the K-member, and then we'll be able to crank it. The chain will pick up tension, and then we'll be able to break the bolt loose. For the manual guys, they get to just put their car in gear, and then it'll hold it still, and then they can break the bolt. But because we're automatic scum, we have to do it this way. So I've got my chain set up here. I've got my breaker bolt ready to go, or breaker bar I should say, ready to go, and we're gonna break this loose. Okay, so I've removed all the tension out of the chain. Now all that's left to do is not be a weak human being. All right, here we go. Oh Jesus, I'm weak. Here we go. Oh. Oh, here we go. Come on, come on. Oh, okay. Let it be known. They didn't lie when they said getting that bolt off is hard, bro. That's freaking hard. I moved it a little bit, but Hey, I hit chest. I hit chest yesterday. So it was a push day. So chest, shoulders, and triceps. So all my pushing muscles are exhausted. That's why I didn't get it first try. Otherwise I would have got that first try. All right, we're back. All right, here we go. Come on. Okay, you guys saw me move it. Started over here, ended over here. Let me finish the rest of it. Am I even in frame? Let me finish the rest of it, and I'll be right back. But yes, that's actually pretty difficult. All right, here we go. Crank bolt, all done with. You know, other mortal men said that taking that off was hard, but you guys saw me. No struggle at all. This was like taking candy from a baby. Anyway. Now we've got to take the harmonic balancer off, which means I need a puller to get that off. I'm going to check if I have one here. If not, I'll just go to a parts store and rent one. But that's what's next. So let me go find that tool because you need it. And then I'll check in with you guys after I'm set for taking that balancer off. All right, we're back. We've got the harmonic balancer puller kit that we rented from Advanced Auto Parts. And we've got it set up down there. So now I'm just gonna pull the balancer off and then we'll continue doing what we need to do. But for now, let me get this balancer off. All right, we've got the harmonic balancer off. And then I was gonna get into the timing chain, or the timing cover, I should say. All of this was gonna come off and I was gonna do all this, but the boys showed up. Oh. Come on, baby, come on. The boys showed up, so we're gonna go hoop. So for now, I'm gonna close this down. I might come back later tonight and work on it a little bit if I can find a light. I just need a light so I can work on this, and I'll do it at night. But for now, we've got this off. What's next is that timing cover. I need to drain the oil too. I haven't done that. Then timing cover, then whatever else. We'll see. But for now, successful.